Hey, this is our first black tea for 2023. We just spent about a day and a half making this, and the videos that follow show you how we did that. This is our first time brewing it, 5 grams and 300 milliliters of water, of boiling water. I let it steep for 4 minutes. Dark tea, so we let it go a minute longer than normal. It's got a wonderful dark black tea aroma, honeyed, malted. Let's see.
Floral.
Yes, like floral. It does have a little bit of tannin. It's not overly so. This is really something. My tasting companion says she thinks Darjeeling, which is a compliment. She's being very nice to me. I think it's very servable and a good effort. But the following videos will show you how we got to this point, and hope you enjoy.
Okay, we're going to start out to go pick some tea this evening. Taking our picking kit with us. That's a cooler that's got some ice, some of the blue ice things, and bags. 2-quart Ziploc bags. I'll put the leaves in. They all have a paper towel that's moist just to give some moisture as we head back. I pick into my Trader Joe's shopping bag, and then we have a scale to weigh the leaves. I shoot for 500 grams or about a pound. That's just the least I can work with the equipment. Hygrometer to record the humidity and temperature at the time we're picking. And this little funnel looking thing is what the leaves are weighing. So here we are, and this is what we've come for. The buds, almost a little fuzzy. There's another one. These plants got hit pretty hard in winter, so the older leaves are got a little bit damaged, but you can see lots of new growth, and we're gonna get some. So here's some we're picking. This is really amazing. They're really covered with new growth. These are basically just abandoned bushes that just sort of grow on their own. It's impressive. And, we'll have our weigh in here in just a little bit. See how much we got. Sorry for the shakiness of the camera. There's a couple of beautiful ones. Just kind of using the thumbnail to pinch them off. We'll have a brown stain under that thumb come tomorrow when my polyphenols oxidize. All right, so we're weighing in. We ended up with 896 grams, almost a kilogram, which is a lot. That was picking over 90 minutes. So we're gonna package them in our bags, put them in the cooler, and head back to the withering room. And of course, we'll make a comment that at 95% relative humidity, we will never be able to wither them down to 60% of their original weight. So we're going to put them in a room that's much lower humidity to help get it down. All right, we're back in the withering loft, which is basically my dining room table, and a little bit further away from where we were. So it's 60% relative humidity now, which is okay. That's what we're shooting for. The temperature's also down. So I'm gonna hook a box fan up underneath this to kind of blow under the chairs overnight. It's 9:30 in the evening. We've weighed things out. We have equivalent amount in each of the trays. And what I will do in, midnight, 1 a.m., something like that, I'll come down and weigh again, and we'll see the rate that we're losing. Okay, so we're 9 hours into the wither, and we're at 67% of the initial weight. So 33% weight loss. We're shooting for a 60% weight of the initial, or 40% loss. So I've had this fan going, and I can't really show it, I guess. It's off now, but it was blowing underneath the chairs that support the withering trays. So I've turned that off because we have 5 to 7 hours to go to get to our 14 to 16 hour wither time. And we're pretty close. Now, it's raining here, and the humidity's gone up. It's currently 63%, but that's not bad, actually. So we're just gonna let them sit for a little bit. I'll check them again in a few hours, and hopefully we'll be rolling by lunchtime. Okay, we're now at 14 hours, and I've weighed these. I spread them back out just for this, for this shot. 59% of the weight of the original tea. So we have our 40% loss at 14 hours, which is actually what we were shooting for. I'm showing this so you can see that they really are floppy, withered. It's interesting, there's been some browning I've noticed in a few leaves. Now, we're measuring as we go, but one old test is to take a handful and squeeze it and see if it holds together. Well, it pretty much does. So, that, and you can't get this on the video, but the floral aromas that are coming off this is really great. As I was picking these up to put them in the vessel to weigh them, it's got this wonderful floral smell. So that's the chemical wither. That's occurred at the same time that we've had the physical wither being the loss of water. So there's also reactions going on within the leaf as it basically starts a slow decomposition process that generates these wonderful aromas that we're trying to get and we want to try to keep in our final tea. So we'll see how we do with that as time goes on. But now we're going to gather all this up and head to the rolling machine. All right, so we've loaded our rolling machine, and I will tell you, this is the first time I've had enough tea to actually use this with with just the tea leaves loaded within the barrel. I'm going to stop for a second so I can get this set up. Okay. Now, this is the plate that comes down and applies pressure. The barrel, you'll see here in a second, rolls, and then the tea is rolled against these spines on the plate. The plate's immobile, and you can adjust the pressure. Let's start with that. We'll roll in 5-minute intervals, stop, break up the ball, put it back in. That'll go on for about 45 minutes or so. There's a break that will occur when the tea's ready. So now we have our tea loaded and we have our pressure plate down to where we want it to be. This is a Chinese machine that was imported. I got it from a guy in Georgia who had imported it to make tea. Got it on eBay, I'm really proud to say. Had a friend who lived near him outside Atlanta, was able to go pick it up. It was barely over $100, which was a great deal. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you want something to roll it. It can be done by hand, but it's really hard work, and it makes the whole process not fun. These can be had online from importers in China. There'll be a shipping cost, which I think I avoided, at least I hope I did. But the cost is really not. It's only just $100 or $300 maybe. Goes up with the size of the machine. This is a great little hobbyist size. Very fortunate to find it. But let's go turn it on. Here's our converter box. That's on. And then we'll hit the go button. Maybe. All right, we've been going for 5 minutes. We're going to turn it off, see what we got. All right, starting to roll. Let's break up the ball, put it back in, and start it up again for 5 more minutes. I'm using the phone as my timer, so we'll just do 5-minute intervals. Goes on for about 45 minutes or so. So I'll cut to the end of this. Okay, we're almost done. We're getting close to a little over half an hour. The tea is really shaped well. So that's, what finished tea should start to have that shape. We're also getting the moisture break. It's they're getting wet. One thing you watch for, which I'm not seeing yet on the plate, is a little bit of foam from the liquid mixed with some protein. Anyway, that's where we are. We're going to do 2 more 5-minute rounds. Hopefully that'll get us to where we want to be. All right, I think we're done. We're 45 minutes in. Let's get the top off. And look inside. There's our ball. And it's quite wet. Yeah, we've definitely got. And yeah, it's wet. And everything's shaped really well too. We've got the fine strands. A lot of our stuff, as the ball got smaller, more of the leaves would get caught between the spines of the plate. But we'll gather all that up. We'll get this together. We'll put it in the oven at low temperature, and we'll start our oxidation process. So this is the tea out of the roller and into, these are flour sifters, 12-inch flour sifters. They fit inside my oven. They work really well. They have a screen bottom, so it lets air circulate. But there's a great aroma coming off the tea now. It's very floral, more so than it was at the end of the wither. But we're going to go ahead and get those in and get their oxidation started. Okay, this is our fermentation setup, oxidation setup. It's the kitchen oven. It's a convection oven, but we will not be using the convection. We've got a thermometer so we can keep an eye on the temperature. We want between 90 and 100. Put a hygrometer in to keep the humidity around 90%. There's 2 pans of water in the bottom, and our flour sifter pans with the tea evenly divided between them. And then our humidifier, high tech. We'll come back and spray that every now and then, but we'll shut it up and just let it go for the 3 to 4 hours it takes to be done. Okay, so we're 2 hours into the oxidation. I have not turned the oven on again. It's maintained a temperature. It was up to 100, 104 actually, but now it's hovering around 90. The relative humidity stayed pretty good. I have opened the door a couple of times to spritz the tea with water just so it doesn't dry out. Look at that. We're getting that beautiful brown color going. It's awesome. I don't know why that thing says what it says, but temperature on this one is just under 100, so that's a little probe hanging down. So anyway, I think we're making great progress. Another hour, 2 hours to go. Okay, so we're 3.5 hours of 90 to 100 degree temperature, 90% relative humidity, and we got these beautiful black tea. We're going to pull things out and kind of reset the oven to do our drying. We did not use convection for the oxidation, but we will use convection at 170 degrees for the drying. So we're set for drying. Just cleared out the things I mentioned in the last segment, left the thermometer in just so we can monitor temperature. The oven's set for 170, which is the lowest setting, and it's also the temperature that we want for drying, and the convection aspect is set up. These pans are 12 inches, so 2 fit. The door closes, even though the one on the right's a little bit prominent. I could, lower the rack and just put them one on top of the other. I guess maybe I'll do that. That'll make it kind of interesting. And then every 30 minutes, I'll set the alarm. I'll come back, turn and fluff them a little bit and just make sure that everything's getting evenly dried. Okay, just took the tea out. Actually did an hour and a half this time. And I think they're quite dry. Got a beautiful black color. The aroma in the room here is just great. I'm gonna let them cool for a minute, then I'll get a final weight on them. We'll let them sit out for just a little bit and then package them. Okay, so we've got our tea put away. The silver container is new. I washed it and poured some boiling water in it. The clay pot is kind of cute. That was something we got tea in a couple of years ago. It's actually been cleaned and also rinsed with boiling water a couple of times to give it a neutral aroma. The black ones are Edmund Pluft cans. I'm taking the labels off of them. They've also been cleaned, had boiling water in a couple of times, and smelled neutral. Didn't really get any flavors off of them. They were unflavored teas, just black teas. So anyway, great containers to reuse. Waiting for some labels to get here from Sticker Mule to kind of dress them up a little bit. But that's our work of day and a half and almost 200 grams of tea.